Welcome to episode 9 of Unexceptional Moms podcast. I'm Ellen Stumpa from ellenstump.com.
And I'm Erin Lorraine. So at the end of our last podcast, we said that we were going to do a Christmas list kind of podcast, and that's been changed. We had a suggestion from a woman named Jill. Hi, Jill, and thank you, who wanted us to do a holiday survival guide. So we're going to do that today instead of the Christmas list, but we are still doing the Christmas list. So did we decide for sure what day? Wednesday?
I think it was a Wednesday or Thursday.
We're going to do kind of a mini episode. Yes. A little shorter, but we're going to discuss Christmas presents for kids with special needs. And then we are going to have as the freebie a whole list of ideas with links to them. So be looking for that just a little bit later this week to get ready for your Black Friday shopping.
Right. And that's why we decided to get 2 podcasts this week, because they're both kind of timely and time sensitive. So you will have a list for the gifts if you want to take it with you. Or even for Cyber Monday.
Mine is more Cyber Monday, I guess. Yeah.
And, but as we talk about the holiday surviving holidays, we do have another freebie. And it's actually the Holiday Survival Guide, which I actually printed today. So if you watch the video, it's right here. And we have everything that we're going to be talking about. So we have several things to talk about of what can help you survive the holidays. And that's what we will be talking about. So, number 1, we have stick with all routines as much as you can. And Erin, do you have anything to say about that?
I do. I mean, this is just a hard time of year for my girls, and routines are so important to them. And of course, we do lots of fun special activities, but I think for us, the primary thing is the bedtime routine. When I can keep that as consistent time-wise as possible, it helps things.
Absolutely. And that's where I think about, we need to respect that bedtime routine. And if you or your kids struggle to follow just having a hard time the next day, making sleep a priority is really important, which I know that's it for my kids. And I do that not just for the holidays, but even when we travel and we go on family vacations.
Yes.
And I think sometimes family looks at us like, oh, come on, just let them stay up a little bit longer. But I know what happens if they stay up a little bit longer. So that bedtime routine,
they don't have to face the consequences.
We don't. And the thing is that for some of our kids, it's not just the next day, but it could be even longer than that. It takes a few days to kind of get regulated and back in the routine. So those are the first 2 that we have. We also talk about don't have unrealistic family expectations.
I would even expand that to say don't have unrealistic expectations, period. Yeah. The holidays are so exciting and there's so much hype. And when they're ruined by a raging child, which I've had happen all the time, I feel crushed because my expectations were so high for a wonderful holiday, and reducing those expectations has really helped me. And that, of course, includes family.
Right. And as I think about it, we have a culture that is so activity and party and festivity oriented during, Thanksgiving and Christmas and then the New Year. And there's a lot of hype surrounding it. And I feel like there's a lot of pressure for moms to do things the right way. I know so many friends that do the whole elf on the shelf. I think that's what it's called.
Oh, yes. And then what about Pinterest?
And Pinterest and all those things. And I think, you know what? I don't have the time to do it. And we do not have to participate in every single activity that everybody else is doing.
Right.
So along with that, make a list of goals that you have for the holidays. Think about what are your expectations. And sometimes adjusting expectations helps us enjoy more when we do not feel the pressure to perform to the culture's demands of holiday celebrations. And I think that's a good idea. What are you expecting for Christmas this time around? What are you expecting for Thanksgiving? And when we have a good idea of what our expectations are, I feel like the whole season feels a little bit better.
Yeah. And I think another thing that's helped me is to say there's this time of year, there's events everywhere, right?
Everywhere.
There's a million things you could do. You could do something every night from Thanksgiving to Christmas. And so I've kind of said, these are the things I really want to do. Just a couple of them. Everything else is bonus. I'd really like to do these couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I work to make those happen and make them as successful as I can. But everything else is bonus. You can't do it all when you've got kids that thrive on routine and structure. And that's okay. I'd rather have nice holidays with less than miserable holidays with more.
Right. And I think some people struggle with the idea that their kids are missing out on stuff.
I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you? I'm not someone who struggles much with that because I'm pretty low key. Mm-hmm. I'm not like a going out exciting person. I mean, I think about my husband, our perfect date is going into a bookstore. I mean, how exciting is that, right? So we're not people that just enjoy to do a lot of things all the time. I mean, we do, but we're both introverts and we like to be home. But although my kids know what's happening, we don't feel like we're missing out because we do have that special time at home just with our family.
Right.
We can keep that routine where we can create our own traditions, our own special times. And I will tell you, my favorite Christmas tradition for a few years has been setting up the Christmas tree.
Yes.
And I think if I could just have one thing, it would be what we have created on that day. Playing music, and we take out the ornaments, and we have ornaments that belong to my grandma, and kind of telling stories about family. And we string lights, and then afterwards we start a fire, and then we sit down, hot chocolate with marshmallows, and then we tell stories. And it could be any story at all. And we love it. I mean, there are times that I just look around and I'm emotional. And every year, because that's Christmas to me. You know, that's the spirit of the holiday. It's supposed to be family. So adjusting those expectations and ahead of time to say, this is what I'm expecting. Like you said, everything else is bonus, just helps so much with that. Number 5 in our list, we have, if you host or entertain, don't do it in a way that is more work than fun.
That's hard.
It's really hard.
I opt just not to host or entertain.
Yes. So now let me tell you, we love hosting, which is weird, but we would rather have people come to our home than us go somewhere else. And not every year, but what we really enjoy doing, and I think we did it most years, we had a open house during the holidays for the people in our church. Because my husband was a pastor for several years, and we really had it low key. Here's the thing. I'm not going to bake for everybody, but I will gladly go and buy Christmas cookies.
Right.
I am not going to make something elaborate. I am going to buy it, and it's going to be already made. And we had drinks. We had hot cider. We have a Keurig, so people could choose whatever they wanted for their drink. And we just have a table set with lots of little snacks and cookies and dips and super simple things. And that was it. There wasn't anything big. We were not offering a main dinner because I just don't have the time, or it would have been so stressful to invite an entire church to say, come and eat with us. But this was just an open house. Come have some snacks. Let's visit together. Let's get to know each other. And everybody loved it. My girls really enjoyed it too. So Excellent. It's just adjusting the way that you do host and entertain. And that's where I see people already stressing out about their Christmas baking. And I know that there's wonderful recipes that have been passed down from time to time, but you know what? Bought cookies are really good too.
Or maybe Christmas baking is on your high priority list.
There you go. Yes. There you go. If that's an expectation you have, make that be the main thing.
Right.
For a while, we tried to make Oreo balls for teachers.
Yeah.
And they're so delicious, but they take so much time that after we did it one year, I was like, we're not even giving them to the teachers because it was a lot of work and we're going to eat them. So we adjusted that. Sorry, teachers, about that. And that was the last time I decided to bake for other people. Yeah. Don't say yes to everyone. Practice saying no. Holidays do not have to be overly busy times.
which is really no different than any other time of the year. Saying no is just hard for a lot of people.
And there are so many things that are happening right now.
Yes.
And I will tell you, I even see that happening, especially now because of social media. Even the amount of parties and invitations that are happening online for people that have their own businesses or whatever it is, it's just overwhelming because there's so much going on. And I had a friend that said, Barb Dittrich, who actually she has a ministry for special needs parents. She just wrote something and she said, actually, like, stand in front of the mirror and practice saying no, thank you. And I've never done that, but I think for people that really have a hard time, it's not a bad idea to practice to say no, thank you. Or I already have plans, or, we already have a lot of stuff going on, whatever it is. It's okay to say no.
That's right.
It really is okay to say no. Simplify your celebration, which kind of goes to say what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Keep it simple.
Keep life simple. Yes. Maybe for us, you'll like this one. My husband despises putting lights on the house. And really that's only gotten worse as we've grown into parenting kids with special needs, because for him now that means leaving me in the house even longer, caring for the kids while he puts lights up on our house. And it's been something that's important to me. So he's done it, but I've even let that go. So my mother-in-law last year bought one of those things that you stick in the ground and it glows lights all over your house. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
My husband was a happy camper. He's like, ching, we're done. Everyone's happy. That was satisfying. The inside of my house is not fancy at Christmas. I have a tree. That's it.
Yeah, we don't do a lot. I mean, for us, it's a tree, and we have some lights that we put on our, because we have a fireplace, so we do some. And, you mentioned this on our last podcast, but because Thanksgiving is the first holiday that we have coming up this week, you don't cook for Thanksgiving.
Oh, no,
you guys go out. You buy your food.
We bought our food. This year we're getting Mimi's Cafe. And it's the first time we've done Mimi's. We usually do Cracker Barrel. We buy a full Thanksgiving dinner, and it's the best thing we ever started doing.
Yes.
I absolutely love it. I look so forward to it every year.
And that's an option. I mean, that's a great way of simplifying, because I think about my family getting together. Everybody's already saying, what are we going to do for food? Who's bringing what? Just make it simple. Go buy it already made. And it tastes just as good, right?
Well, it does. It is a little costly, but quite frankly, by the time you buy a big turkey and everything and then put all the time into it, I don't have that. Besides that, I despise cooking. Now, if you really love cooking, that might be great for you. I despise it. So buying our Thanksgiving dinner meets all of my needs. I'm a happy girl on Thanksgiving.
Yeah. And that's an easy way to simplify. Same for Christmas. You can already,
Absolutely.
You can buy a pre-made
ham or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Try to avoid crowds. I'm a huge fan of this one.
It's hard this time of year.
It's really hard.
But we try to do things at off times, right? So you're not going to find us anywhere in peak hours. You're just not. It doesn't work for us.
I think even for me personally, the idea of Black Friday is overwhelming. And I did it once, and that was enough of an experience to say, I really don't care to be surrounded by so many people. If there's a lot of people, I don't love it. But I have kids, at least one of my girls, that has some sensory issues, and crowds are incredibly overwhelming. And that is just going to push her over the threshold and over the limit. So we don't do that. We don't do the mall picture with Santa. We don't do those things because there's so many people. And, again, for people that would say, your kids are missing out. No, actually they're not, because putting them in those situations is very stressful.
That's right.
You have to think of it. It's a little bit of protecting them that way. And I have to say that I did try to do Black Friday shopping with you, Erin. Do you remember? We were going to go to Toys R Us for the deals.
And there was a huge line outside, and we were like, I can't believe they haven't opened yet. I thought they had already opened. Oh, no, they had.
Yes.
That's how many people were there. The store was so full that people were waiting in the huge line. And this is what we did with the car.
Just turn around. We are not standing. That was the last time. It's nice to have friends that feel the same way that you do when it comes to shopping with crowds. But yeah, avoiding crowds is really, really important. And I have to say that my husband's family is really large, and when we get together every summer, to my daughter, it feels like a crowd. Yeah. So even when we go, we prepare for her to have a place that it's her own where she can go and get away. Where now we can plan ahead, but when you have that kind of a holiday season situation, sometimes it's good to avoid crowds. Okay, so with that, along with that, plan and prepare. Make a plan wherever you go. Bring toys, food, equipment that will make things easier for you and your child.
So for both of our families, we have food allergies. Mm-hmm. So that's a factor. I have been caught somewhere and realized there was nothing for Anya to eat. And that's very stressful. So that is a plan for us. The other thing is, my expectations, speaking of expectations, for their behavior cannot be too high. So Anya is a 9-year-old with Down syndrome and ADHD. I cannot expect that if I'm going to take her to some event that's going to involve her to sit quietly for long periods of time, that she's going to do that. And so if I want it to be successful, that might mean bringing earbuds and an iPhone and letting her watch videos on YouTube Kids or listen to music. And it's okay if she isn't fully participating in it.
Right.
Because the expectations would be too high for her behavior.
Right. And that's part of the, planning and preparing too.
Yes.
If you know you're going to be around, sometimes that there are, I think about family gatherings, there are certain family members that sometimes are a little bit hard to interact with. Those are even things that you can plan and prepare for. That you can at home create a plan of how you're going to handle a certain situation. What if a comment is said in a certain way? Are you going to ignore it? Are you going to just politely say, we talked about this before, I politely disagree with you. Yes. That podcast, which is about when people say rude things. So we have one about that. So all of that goes along with the planning. If you have an idea of what's going to happen and you can prepare ahead of time, things go so much better. So along with that, be willing to be flexible and plan an exit route anytime you go out, and maybe come up with a signal for your spouse that means we got to go.
Yes. Another thing for us, and it might work for other people, is bring an extra person, like a babysitter or something. If it's something you really need or want to stay at, that can then take the kids if they need to go. But yes, always an exit plan, always.
Yeah. Even if it's family, even if it's something that you had been planning, that you need to plan ahead. What if I have to leave early? What does that look like? And especially,
is our whole family going to leave early, or one of us to agree to stay and the other's going to go? Because you don't want the other kids to miss out either, right? Yes.
And as you mentioned that, we oftentimes will drive 2 separate cars.
Yeah. Right.
Because we know that most likely my youngest, who has Down syndrome and gets sensory issues, she won't make it through, and she's going to want to go. So it's usually my husband will go with her, because he is more of an introvert than I am. So he actually, most of the time, he happily goes with her.
Right.
To avoid those situations. And, and that you just do those things. You plan ahead. And I do know of families that do have like a keyword or a signal, when you look at your spouse and you can say, hey, the water's boiling, or whatever you come up with. That's probably a terrible. I just came up with them. That was really bad.
That was nice. That was good. I'd like to hear you use that one.
Let's forget I said that. Okay, next one. If you travel, consider getting a hotel. It is nice to have your own space, and it allows you to have more flexibility. Now, I know that's not
always possible.
Right. Yeah. But if you're going to invest money in the holidays as part of presents, make that be to create your own space, because there's nothing more frustrating than going to stay with a family member or be somewhere and things are not going well, and maybe there's a lot of tension, maybe your kids are not doing well, and you do not have your own space. So
Definitely.
if you can have a hotel, go to the hotel, and then you're in charge of your own time, and you don't have to be around family all the time, and you can control the bedtime routine, and you
Yep.
can control a bit more of the other routine. And maybe if your kids enjoy swimming and there's a swimming pool, there's a fun activity for them to do,
Mm-hmm.
which happens with my family. So we have had situations where we're meeting with family and we just opt for the hotel, and we participate as much as we can, as much as we know our kids can. And when we're done, and we just go back to our place where we get to hunker down.
Right.
Now, along with that, don't spend too much money, because gifts don't last forever, but family memories do.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen friends already posting on Facebook the piles of boxes that they have already from buying gifts. And I mean, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong, but
Hey, if you can do that, please do.
right.
But that's a financial strain then for us
Right.
after the holidays.
Right.
Yeah.
Because usually for us, especially needs families, we have so many other expenses that, that come along with that. And, as we're going to be talking about gifts that we recommend, for kids with special needs, sometimes, the investment, I think more about how I'm going to spend my money.
Yes.
And to be honest, my daughter, Nicole, again, with Down syndrome, she would love to get 20 Barbies for Christmas. And she would want everybody, and I'm not going to buy her 20 Barbies for Christmas. Right. I don't even want to buy her one. She already has too many, but we'll see. Focus on helping others.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's enough research that says, right, that when you help others and you focus on others, then you don't focus so much on you, or you get to see your blessings a little bit more when you help other people in need. So I know that most people are done collecting for the shoe boxes for Operation Christmas.
Shoe boxes just ended at our church.
Yes, but there's like the Toys for Tots, and there's
all kinds of
angel trees, and there's so many opportunities where I think it's so neat, first of all, as a family, to get your kids to see how you can care for other people. So it just helps to focus on other people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now the next things that we're going to be talking about are things that I'm pretty passionate about. Just things that I really care about quite a bit. So please don't roll your eyes, because it's really good for you.
Are you talking to me, or are you talking to the people listening?
Maybe both.
Maybe both.
Okay. Boost your immune system. Okay. This is a time where, first of all, it's winter, so a lot of people are getting sick.
Right.
And
you're around a lot of people.
You're around a lot of people, and you're eating a lot of cookies and sugar. Mm-hmm. And sugar feeds disease. Okay. And I'm not going to go into a lot of that, but whatever you eat, either it's going to feed disease or it's going to fight disease. So if you can boost your immune system, that's great. And just make sure that if you're going to be eating sweets, that you're eating good food too. You're eating your fruits and your veggies, and try to cut down on the sugar as much as you can, because it's going to be around you so much that when you're home and you have that chance, try to be conscious about that.
And we do like emergency sometimes, and little things like that, just a little extra boost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'll talk a little bit about that coming up. If you usually work out, don't skip your workouts. I mean, that's just, for somebody that does it just because it helps you
emotionally,
release toxins. It keeps you in that routine as well. So that's super important. Again, be mindful of what you eat and try to make good choices. And I know it's hard during the holidays, especially when we have stress. A lot of us can be stress eaters. Mm-hmm. And this is a time where there's so many sweets again available that it's so easy to go dig into that. So be mindful of what you eat.
I will think hard about it while I eat my sweets, Ellen.
Mm-hmm. I know you will. And that's what I said. Don't roll your eyes at me, because I know you do.
Hey, it's a problem. I'm serious. It's a problem.
Take some supplements. Okay. Again, these are things that I'm passionate about, because I do care so much about people's health and helping people. So supplements are good for you to take during this time. One is a vitamin C. And my favorite is the powder vitamin C. You can get a big tub, because you can just put that in juice or your drinks, or even in your food, because it doesn't taste like anything and you can get a lot of it. And vitamin C is just really good for you. Another one, get a good omega. And I am not talking about most things that you can find, like a Target and stuff like that, because those are so processed that really don't do a lot of good. So get your hands on some pretty good omegas. If you have questions, send me a message and I can tell you what I recommend. A good multivitamin, again, do your research about what a good multivitamin is, because most things that we buy at stores, our body doesn't digest them and they just come out the same way that they come in. And I'm sorry, but it's true. So if you're going to invest in your health, you need to invest in things that are actually good for you. But another really good supplement to be taking is a good vitamin D, because during the winter, our vitamin D reserves go down. So boosting that helps a lot. So again, if you're on a good multivitamin, a good omega, a good vitamin C and vitamin D, that's great. And if you really need to, having some enzymes, digestive enzymes are great, especially during this time. So again, if you have questions, send me an email. But I really care about this stuff, as you can tell. And I want to help you. And if I could, I would make sure that everybody was, building their health a little bit more. Because the reality is, if you're tired, if you're not sleeping well, if you're not eating well, if you're tired, it takes a toll on your body. True. So in order to really survive the holidays, you do need to be mindful about your own behaviors or your actions. Absolutely. And what you're eating. Okay, so now that's done. Woo, let's take a deep breath. Okay, another thing, take a day off. And some people have so many days a year, and we try to keep them sometimes for the summer, but take a day off. If you've had a lot of parties and you've had a really busy time, just take a day off.
Binge watch on Netflix, right?
Yes. Oh, I love to do that. It's a problem.
I recommend The Crown. Have you started that yet?
No, but
good.
But we did watch the detective one. Sherlock. Yes, we kind of binged watched on that one.
Love that.
That was really good. Moving on. So take the day off. Okay. So here's another one. Make Christmas and Thanksgiving a holy time between you and God. So for Thanksgiving, consider thanking God for all your blessings. So count your blessings of the year and write them down. It is actually a beautiful exercise that will lift your spirit. And our last podcast was all about cultivating thankfulness. So you can listen to that. It really will change you, not just for the holidays, but it can really change you and affect you if you learn how to cultivate thankfulness. And for Christmas, spend time alone with God. And for me, my favorite times is when it's late at night, everybody's in bed, and I have the Christmas lights on, everything else is done, and I just have time to reflect about life and to pray. And it's a truly holy moment for me. And ultimately, especially when we're talking about Christmas, that's what Christmas is supposed to be about, really, is recognizing that we have this incredible God that became a man so he could die for our sins and give us eternal life. So if we can make that a holy moment and kind of get away from the gifts and the busyness and the parties and the family, that we, all those things that we have to do, that's what it's really about.
I will add to that, there are some great resources out there to help guide your family in some more what's the word I'm looking
Advent,
for? Being
like the Advent.
Advent stuff. But the other thing I was thinking is what God wants for Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
A children's book with with figurines that tell the whole Christmas story. That's fantastic. Can we put a link to that?
Yes.
From Family Life. So you can find it on familylife.com.
Yeah, actually.
But there's a lot of stuff out there.
As you say that, Erin, you guys give it to our family for Christmas. And that's a tradition that we have. Mm-hmm. Actually, we take it out every year and we read it every year, and the girls love it.
Yeah, it's a great resource. They have something similar for Easter, so we'll discuss that at Easter.
Okay. That's a great one. But yeah, we can link to that, definitely. And there's some great Advent resources too for people who want to do that with their kids. And the last thing, practice breath prayers. Erin, are you very familiar with breath prayers?
I'm familiar with it. I don't do it though.
So this is something that my husband really taught a lot as a pastor. And a breath prayer is really a prayer that you say in a breath, really shortly, that you just keep repeating throughout the day. And sometimes it can be as simple as, God, I need you. But really consciously saying that throughout your days, God, I need you. God, I need you. God, I need you. Or it could be something specific to the holidays. Sometimes like, God, help me see Christmas through your eyes. God, help me see Christmas through your eyes. It could be a more desperate prayer, like, God, help us make it through this Christmas season. But, like sometimes it is. So a breath prayer is just, it's not a long prayer. It's just, I don't like calling it a mantra because it's not that, but it's just really something that you want to hold on to, that you want to experience, something where you want to see your dependency on God or God stepping into your life. So those are breath prayers. And I think because life is so busy during the holidays, sometimes we only have time for breath prayers. But if we are conscious about those breath prayers, and if we are constantly bringing that up, it really makes a huge difference. I will tell you, my husband went as far as he would have an alarm set every hour, and every time it would go off, he would say the breath prayer or whatever he wanted. And I think for a while it was, Lord, teach me to pray. It was even that, just simple, Lord, teach me to pray. So if you're someone that needs those reminders, set your alarm. Every hour, every 30 minutes, every 2 hours. Whatever you need, that when that alarm goes off, whatever it is that you've decided you need to pray or that you need in your life, you just do it. And maybe it's not something specific. It's just a reminder to pray. Like, God, I need you right now. God, I need you right now. So to be more mindful about that connection with God, especially again, because it gets so busy.
Yes.
It can be overwhelming. So that's that. And again,
next we're going to work on the Christmas list.
We will, and we're going to have that. But I will say, so again, the reminder that the freebie is the Holiday Survival Guide. And it's, did you notice, Erin, I put a little Ukrainian decoration?
Oh, cute.
Yes, because we both adopted our girls from Ukraine. And the other thing I wanted to mention really quick is because the holidays can be so overwhelming for us as special needs parents, and sometimes we feel like we're merely surviving. So in order to help special needs moms to move from surviving to thriving, I have created a course, and it's called Living Intentionally. And Erin, you have been a part of it, and I have some lessons, and I have a group of ladies going through that, but I'm opening registrations again on Friday. So that's Black Friday. So on Black Friday, registration is going to open up. And it's going to be open up until December 4th. And then we're going to go through that together. And this is going to help you create a plan for your family, because things can get crazy, and sometimes getting back up or getting back on track is really hard. And I would say most ladies that have been, in the course, they have all said that it's been incredibly helpful. So we talked about to-do lists. We talk about creating routines. I actually have a bonus for creating an organizational journal that kind of brings everything together. And I have freezer meals.
Valerie and I, my sister-in-law, we said when we get together on Thanksgiving, we're going to set a date to do your set of freezer meals together.
Yes. And I'm telling you, freezer meals are a lifesaver.
I know.
So that's all part of the course. So if you want to join, make sure that you're part of my email list. So if you go to ellenstama.com, there are several places where you can sign up, and I always send a ton of freebies, but then you will get to know right away the reminder when it opens up, or you can go to my Facebook page where I will also have information about that. But I want to offer that because I know the desperation that can result from trying to survive the holidays and then to start the new year again on the right track. That's really hard. So this course is specifically to help you with that. So that's my little commercial. And then be on the lookout for our mini episode with our toys.
Yes.
Or other recommendations.
The week after that, are we doing marriage? I thought it was marriage.
Yes. And then the week after that, we're doing marriage. So if you guys have any questions or anything specific that you want us to talk about when it comes to marriage,
absolutely,
please send those our way. You can email us, ellen@ellenstama.com, and I always make sure that Erin gets those emails when we get those. Or you can send me a message through Facebook, and again, I make sure that Erin gets those as well. Or even through the blog. And if you write underneath, don't publish this and don't make it public, I don't, because I actually have to go through every comment. So if you ever leave a comment on my blog, it can be private if you let me know right there.
Yeah.
So,
and we won't use your name.
No.
If you ask a question, we won't use your name. But yeah, if you have a specific question, ask it. My husband and I spent a number of years in marriage ministry, and it's our passion. So I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, and we know that marriage and parenting kids with disabilities could be one of the biggest challenges.
Yes.
So it's a pretty big topic, and we do want to make sure that we're providing what you want to hear.
Absolutely.
And what you need. So that's that. So yeah, we talked about how to survive the holidays, and hopefully this is going to be helpful for everybody.
Yeah.
And if you just take a few things, again, to get the survival guide, just go to ellenstumble.com/episode 9, and that's the number 9 altogether, and scroll down to the bright orange button, click on that, and you will get it straight into your inbox right away. So
excellent.
Alrighty. So we will see you guys next episode, which is going to be coming up. Yes, just a few days.
Bye.
Bye.